Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 10th LinkedIn Live of 2023. I couldn't be prouder of the fact that I set a goal to do LinkedIn Live the first Wednesday of every month. And here we are in October, and my streak is alive. 10 for 10. Those are Hall of Fame numbers. Quick disclaimer here, this is not live. I am recording it the day before due to some travel and an event that I'm attending here in London, England. I'm going to Legal Geek, the Legal Geek conference this week. It's a 2-day conference. And so that interferes even with the time change between here and the Mountain Time Zone in Boise, Idaho. The conference interferes with my ability to present this. And I wanted to present it because it's got important information. I wanted to do this for you all, to share quality content, as is my goal during these LinkedIn Live points or chances. And so I'm recording this due to travel. As always, this is going to be 25 minutes long. Just me today, no slide deck, just me kind of dropping some truth bombs, sharing some knowledge, maybe even a song lyric or two as we move through our process today. Drop your comments and questions in the comments section to the presentation. I'll be certain to respond regardless of the fact that I'm in a seminar when this is being broadcast to you all. As always, I promise that I will respond. If you find value in the content, please share it with your network. Share it with others who you think would also find value in it, who you believe to be on the hamster wheel that is so easy to settle into in the practice of law. That hamster wheel of head down, focusing on the needs of others, always not lifting our eyes up and creating a strategic vision and goals based on that strategic vision for our law practice and our lives. So share it, comment. I will get back to you, I promise. If you're busy, you're lazy. There, I said it. It's true. It's true. Here is the deal. Time management is a bunch of baloney. Apologies, or actually not, to all the time management gurus and the people out there who claim to be time management masters and things like that. You're just full of it. That's all, period, full stop. Time management is baloney. It's a billion-dollar industry built on a lie. It's built on a lie. Here's what I mean. There is no pause button on a sundial or an hourglass. It doesn't exist. It's impossible to manage time. You cannot do it. As Steve Miller, here comes the lyric for you. As Steve Miller famously sings, time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking into the future. You can't stop it. You can't manage it. A second is a second is a second is a second, and they all continue to move by. We've been on this broadcast for 4 minutes and 15 seconds. That time is gone. There's no way to manage it. Period. Do you believe me? If you agree with me, drop a thumbs up in the comments. If you disagree with me, if you think time management is actually a thing, drop that in the comments as well. I'd love to have a conversation about your view of time management and my view of time management. I am a smart enough person to understand that I don't know it all. I've got my opinions, and my opinions oftentimes change over time because I have a mastery mindset. I'm always trying to learn. But as we sit here today in October of 23, I'm here to tell you that time management is nonsense. There's no pause button on a sundial or an hourglass. Time just keeps on marching forward. You can't manage it. That thing creates so much pain in the law. It creates pain around work-life balance, which is another concept or industry that is nonsense. It's nonsense. There's no such thing as balance in the short term, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. So how does this time management concept affect lawyers like you? It has the pernicious effect of having you believe that if you're not busy, you're lazy. If you're not busy, you're lazy. How many times have you thought that to yourself? Drop a me in the comments section. If I'm not busy, if my calendar's not filled up with stuff, I am lazy. That thought, that lie, that's one of the 5 lies that lawyers tell ourselves that we believe are necessary to be successful. If I'm not busy, I'm lazy. We think that that supports our success when in fact, the opposite is true. If you are busy, you're lazy. If you are busy, you're lazy. The lie has it exactly backwards. The belief is exactly backwards. Here's what I mean. You've got 168 hours in your week. No more, no less. Everybody has the same 168 hours. That's it. If I were to look at your calendar right now, right this minute, would it reflect your priorities or the priorities of others? Would it have time for strategic thinking? I was working with a client yesterday as I'm recording this and was talking with them about marketing and sales and growing their book of business. And it came around to investing the time to strategically think. And we got to that place in a roundabout way. We got there because I was asking questions about data, the data that they had, and how they were using the data. Turns out the data was just the data, and they weren't necessarily using it. They weren't using it to their advantage. And so we really got to a place where we discuss strategic thinking. If you step back and invest 45 to 90 minutes a week, 45 to 90 minutes a week. Hey, you hourly lawyers out there, you just kind of got nervous, didn't you? 90 minutes? John, do you know how much money that costs me if I'm not billing that time? Yeah, I do. I do. I was on the hourly billable model, so I know exactly how much you think it costs you. I am here to tell you that not having that strategic time, not investing that 45, 60, 75, 90 minutes a week in strategic thinking is actually costing you in the long term. It costs your business, it costs your mental health, it costs your physical health, it costs your ability to create a vision for what you want your business to be like. After all, what's the point? What is the point of being a managing partner of a mid-sized law firm, a partner in a smaller law firm, or a true solo, if not to create the type of business that you want to have? If you're not investing that time in strategic thinking, then you're costing yourself, you're costing your clients, you're costing your families, and you're costing your communities. If you are busy, You are not being careful about what it is that you are allowing into your 168 hours. And let's be honest, it's not really 168. It's about 2/3 of that if you are following the recommended guidelines and getting 8 hours of sleep a night. If you're taking care of yourself and getting 8 hours of sleep at night, you reduce that 168 by about a third. So we don't really have that 168 unless we're willing to cheat ourselves and ultimately others by not sleeping. The science is clear on the benefits of sleep to not only physical restoration, but the ability of our minds to noodle on problems and come up with unique solutions while we sleep, because the barrier between the subconscious and the conscious kind of breaks down during that time. So we have this unique ability to come up with creative solutions to issues that we can't solve when we're really thinking about them. Think about how many times you've gone to sleep at night and woke up in the morning with an idea, oh, maybe that's how I solve this thing that's been bothering me and getting in my way. So 168 hours, 2/3 of that we have ready and where we're capable of doing work. We're not going to take that whole 2/3 though, because we've got friends and family and community and other things. So really kind of shrinking down the available time that we have. And remember, you can't manage that time. You can only manage what you allow into it. You can only manage what you allow onto your plate. That's it. That is all you can do. And in order to master time, which you can do, you have to own it. You must own your time. You ought to treat it like it is. And what I mean by that is, it is your most precious asset. Period. Full stop. If you disagree with me, drop something in the comments. Because I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank. It doesn't matter all the stuff that you have. Time is your most precious asset. I come to this as a person who at 14 lost his dad to a second heart attack because my dad, I think, I don't know what he was thinking, but this is me looking back all those years ago, and thinking he always thought he had more time. Time is the only thing that we don't know how much we have of, and we cannot make more of. You can always make more money. You can, right? You have the ability to do that. You are a world-class lawyer. You can always make more money. You don't know how much time you have, and you can never make more of it. So, when we're looking at your calendar, again, I do this with my clients. I have them pull up their calendar, and I ask them, where are your priorities, including your strategic thinking time? Where are they on your calendar? Because if they ain't on your calendar, they ain't going to get done. We know this, right? We know this. What gets calendared gets done. And so that's where the rubber meets the road. Take a look at your calendar. Be honest with yourself. Right now, pull your calendar up. You're multitasking or task switching, because there's no such thing as multitasking, but that's a topic for another day. You may be multitasking right now. Pull up your calendar or pause the video. Pull up your calendar and ask yourself, where are your priorities on that calendar? Steve Jobs, you can love him, you can hate him. I have a mixed relationship with Mr. Jobs. What I mean by that is, I think he was a brilliant human being. I absolutely think he was brilliant. He turned Apple into the first trillion-dollar company because of his drive and his ideas. I also kind of despise him because we have this. And it is something that is an instrument of distraction, as well as an instrument of insight. So it's a two-edged sword with Steve. So Steve Jobs was famous for saying, and I'm gonna read this because I want to get the quote exactly right because I think it's that important. People think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. So if it's saying yes to the brief, or saying yes to argument preparation, or saying yes to the contract that you're drafting, saying yes to the thing that you need to focus on. Steve Jobs says, but that's not what it means at all. Focus means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that are out there, the 100 other things that you want to be involved in, that you ought to be involved in, that you feel pulled towards. You have to pick carefully. That's Steve Jobs. That's not John Kormanik. Steve Jobs. You have to pick carefully. I am actually as proud of the things we haven't done as the things I have done. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things to say yes to one thing. Circle back to the topic of our talk today. Time management is baloney. And if you're busy, you're lazy. If you're busy, you're lazy because you are not doing the hard work on the front end to decide what to say yes to and what to say no for now to. It's rarely for something that is important to you, a no forever. It is often a no for now, no for today, no for this week, no for this month, no for this quarter, no for this year. It's a no for now. If it stays on the list, you can always go back to it and figure out the correct time for you to say yes to it. So when we're talking about the nonsense of time management, this is really what we're talking about. We're talking about your ability to make a decision about what you allow onto your plate. Look, I know that as, for example, a litigator, there are other things, other people who get to put stuff on your plate. I get it. Whether it's the opposing counsel who's being obstreperous and says the only date for a deposition is the day before Thanksgiving, or the day after Christmas. I get it. You may or may not be able to deal with that. I also know that those things, whether it's opposing counsel or courts or whatever, typically bend when we say no. Judge, that date does not work for me. Can we pick another date? It's owning your calendar. It's owning your most important asset. It's owning your stuff. You have to own your stuff. You must say no to the 1,000 things, the shiny objects, the opportunities, because if you say yes, the limiting factor is time. We can go back to it, 160 hours in a week, 168 hours in a week. 1/3 of that is taken up by sleep. When you say yes to something, you must, by default, say no to at least one other thing, oftentimes many other things. That's just true. With a capital T. That is true because you cannot do it all. So instead of thinking, if I'm busy, if I'm not busy, I'm lazy, start to adopt the mindset of, if I am busy, I'm lazy, and I'm lazy upstream. I'm lazy upstream. I'm lazy in my decision-making process, and I'm lazy in the ownership of my time. The world needs you. Your clients, your staff, your colleagues, your family, your community. All of those folks need you. I get it. We get pulled in a million different directions, it feels like sometimes. And that results in this kind of weight on our shoulders. So, how am I going to get it done? How am I going to get all this done? When you start thinking like that, stop and think, how do I own my time? How do I own it? And how do I become okay with saying no for now? I'm sorry, Pam, I can't do that now. It's a no for now. Let's revisit in 3 months, next quarter, next year. Let's revisit it. We're beginning to come in for a landing, 25 minutes. That's what these LinkedIn Lives are. Let me give you a takeaway. We've talked about how time management is baloney. There's no pause button on a sundial or an hourglass. Steve Miller has it exactly right. Time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking into the future. We've also talked about 168 hours and our priorities versus the priorities of others. Here's a suggestion for you to begin to develop this muscle. Color code your calendar so you're able to, at a glance, see if you're focusing on the things that move you closer to achieving your goals. Create that system. It will help you move forward towards your goal achievement that you've sat back and you've thought about strategically. Here are my goals for the year. Let's break those down into quarters. Here are my goals for the quarter. Let's break that down to this month, this week. What's one thing I can do today to move forward towards that goal? You've done that work. You've also done the work of creating a vision, your vision for your life, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, what you want your life to look like. You've done that work, or hopefully you have. And then you've taken that vision and you've incorporated your business into it. What's the vision for your business in 3 years? What do you want it to be? What needs to happen for that vision of the future to occur? Hopefully you've done that work. If you haven't done the vision or goal setting work, ping me, reach out. I'm happy to have a 30-minute discovery call with you. Well, I'll ask you 3 questions only. At the end of that discovery call, you will have an ability to move forward towards your vision and your goals. Guaranteed. Back to your calendar. Color code the things on your calendar. Here's what I mean. I'll give you an example for me. I have 3 high leverage activities that only I can do. Number 1, connecting with people, connecting with lawyers like you. Number 2, creating quality content for managing partners and law firm owners. Number 3, coaching one-on-one at a world-class level for outstanding lawyers to help them transform into elite leaders. Those are my 3 high leverage tasks. They're buckets. For connecting with people, that's green. On my calendar, if I were to pull my calendar up right now for this week, you would see connecting with people, all the connecting activities are in green, and there are many of them. For quality content, my content creation, that's red. You look at my calendar, green is connecting, red is content creation, whether it's recording this video, drafting posts for LinkedIn, recording my Friday quick 1-minute hit videos. Tune in on Friday for another one about the second step to the phrase, what's measured can be improved. And finally, creating outstanding one-on-one coaching experiences for my clients. Those are all in blue. I can look at my calendar, know what's out of whack, know what's missing, know what I need to pull in. Thanks for hanging with me. Time management is baloney. There's no pause button on a sundial or an hourglass. If you are busy, you're lazy because you're not making the decisions upstream about what to allow into your 168-hour week. If you want to learn more about my one-on-one leadership and performance coaching, leave a comment or shoot me a direct message. I will warn you, my client roster has limited availability through the end of the year. So if you want to explore this, let me know now. Thanks. Take care, y'all. I'll see you in November for the 11th straight month of LinkedIn Lives. Be well.